Welcome back to Conversations with Sharon and Rosa. I'm Rosa.
And I'm Sharon.
And thank you all for joining us once again this week for another conversation with Sharon and Rosa. And before we get into today's conversation, I just want to remind everyone that we are not professionals. We just give you our opinions and things that have happened in our lives. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you want to say something about that? Are you good?
Well, yeah, it's important, that you know that and that we remind you that we're not because sometimes we get some feedback and, people be wanting, our advice and we're like, hey, we can only tell you, say what has happened in our life, how do we react when it came across us and some, general, just basic good common sense things. But again, we're not professional. Neither one of us have our double PhDs in psychological nonsense.
Yeah.
But anyway, not that
I mean,
it's
you
nonsense.
should have a PhD,
Yeah,
but
at least, just for life alone.
Yeah.
But that MBA is not working in some areas. So,
yeah.
just speaking, I'm talking about life. My life as a lesbian.
Now, if we're talking about business sense, she might be the expert.
Oh,
but
that's nice of you to say that.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
today.
Yeah. So before we again get into today's conversation, I want to do shout outs. And thank you all who wished us safe travels. We are back in California, and yeah, we're good to be back. Good to be home. It's always good to go on vacation, but it's always good to be home.
Yeah, and so we were able to leave New Orleans about 5 days before this horrible.
Not even 5 days.
Not even
maybe, it was like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, before this hurricane start rearing its head. So timing's everything, and we're blessed with with great travel. So thank you for your kind words and wishes.
Absolutely. So today's shout out goes to Alberta M. Thank you for all of your comments, and thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Sharon and Rosa. We appreciate you big time. Next is Andre B. We haven't heard from you in any comments yet, but we appreciate you being a subscriber. We appreciate you. Hopefully you're sharing, and I know that you are watching our video, so we appreciate that. And last but not least is Candia M. Thank you for being a subscriber. So now that is out of the way, we just want to again thank all our subscribers, and we thank you all for tuning in with us each and every week. And you haven't subscribed yet and you're watching us, please do so. Hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
Hit like so that way you'll get all of our videos each and every week. And share it with your friends and family. We appreciate you.
Yes, we really do.
And
we've had hundreds and hundreds, but of course we're looking for thousands and thousands, So thank you for helping us be successful.
Absolutely.
So today's topic, you want to talk about it first or tell them what we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I can give it to them.
Okay.
So today's topic is gold diggers. Gold diggers in Lesbian-land. So,
you scared me. There are gold diggers in Lesbian-land?
There are some gold diggers in Lesbian-land. Or maybe not. I mean, it depends on what we look at gold diggers as. So you want to give them how we see gold diggers or what?
Well, first of all, let's say this. We had to come up with some operational definition before we proceed. So, what's a gold digger? So, is it an opportunist? Is it a person that's always around when they get more than the other person, or just selfishly always out for herself? So we said that in our mind that a gold digger is a woman who intentionally connects, selects, preys upon, or always looking for a woman to take care of her financially, socially, psychologically, or just to add to her benefit in life. She's one of those what can you do for me kind of women. And the more you can do for her, the more she's available. So, however you see that or categorize it, I think we've all met one or two, even if it wasn't in our own relationship. You've kind of seen some of our buddies maybe have a relationship of convenience.
Yes.
Because the gold digger, is working her for points and double on holidays, baby. So we got to keep it real, and we talk about some very deep, some
Yes.
sensitive, and but always very real topics. So today we're gonna to our friends in lesbian land and beyond, because
Yes.
we are being inclusive, all of you, wherever you're coming in from. We're going to talk about women who purposely take advantage of other women. Boom.
Absolutely.
What they say? Pow pow. Okay, so that's what we're gonna talk about today. That's the mood I'm in. All right. So you say, I'm like, well, you're not saying all women are doing it. No, not at all. But you recognize it when you see it. As simple as that. Because so many of us are in very wonderful, loving, healthy relationships, and then there's some of us who not so much.
Benefiting from one another.
Yeah. So why? How you look at some people in their relationships. You're not being nosy. You're just like, I wonder why they hooked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's
Well, with you even saying that, a lot of people have said that about us. How did they get together?
Well,
So
it's funny you should say that.
And I think a lot of people originally thought that it was more of a gold digger type situation
On your behalf?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Meaning they thought you were a gold digger?
Yeah.
They
Like,
wouldn't think that I'm the gold digger? I'm the aging lesbian.
yeah, I mean, because with the conversations that you and I have had, and you talked about some of the conversations your friends and you have had with us being together, and some of them like, you need to draw up a prenup and all of this other stuff, as though I was coming in to take away from you.
Yeah.
To me, a prenup, that's what a prenup is.
Sure.
I got what I got, and if we disperse or break up or whatever, you leave with what you leave with the underwear you came with. So you can say that. I think a lot of people, in my opinion, I think when you see like an older woman with a younger woman, most people, I know I do sometimes go to that avenue.
You just like,
What do they see in each other? Because of the age difference. But for me, it definitely was not that. I didn't really even know what Sharon really had. So how do you even know that?
Let's be clear. I'm a broke, old, aging lesbian. I have nothing but my personality.
She lying on a Sunday.
Okay,
no, I'm just kidding.
But I hear what you're saying, and I want to make sure that we be careful with our wording, because you guys will give us some feedback.
Yeah, which is good.
I'm not saying or suggesting that just because there's a relationship between two women or men or whomever, and there's a age difference, or more or less a significant age difference between the two of them, that one must be gaming the other. I'm not saying that. I do think it happens sometime, but I don't think it happens all the time. People can seriously, not to sound corny, just actually connect in this universe, fall in love, and decide to live their days together.
Yeah.
Okay,
I agree.
Call me a hopeless romantic, but it's out there. It's as simple as that. But we also know there's some skeezers. That's an old word. There's some skeezers out there. There's some women who are always around to do maximum benefit for whomever they're with. All right? You may be into her, and she's into whatever you got. Right. What's yours is the two of you, and what's hers, first of all, she ain't got nothing. No, she ain't got but so much, because she's always needy. So let me just, in my mind, let me tell you what the dynamic looks like.
But a gold digger doesn't always have to not have any. She just might want more than what she already had.
Well, that's true. I didn't say she was naked and you found her at the soup kitchen. I'm just saying that, when she presents herself, chances are she doesn't have as much as you have. She's needing something, wanting to go somewhere, trying to do something, and you're the right person to help her. Oh yeah, I got a car, but it just broke down. So, can you help me? Rent a car. Yeah. But why would we rent a car? Can you help me buy a car? That kind of thing, and all of which is cool because you digging her and she's digging you too. And y'all know my sayings, my Sharonisms: fair swap ain't no swindle. Okay, but I'm saying there's some women out there who are always on the prowl to try to get over.
Yeah.
You know, when you see them with, person after person, and I said, I thought she was in love with, no, I thought she was living with, no, I thought she was going to Europe with, because she's always changing, because she's looking for the best ticket and the best meal. And I'm sorry, they're out there. And what happens is there's just two different dynamics going on. You're looking for someone to love you, hug you, appreciate you, and have some kind of decent relationship formation there. And she's looking to get whatever she can from you.
Yeah.
All right. Now, tell me, am I wrong? I mean, do you know any gold diggers?
Well, I mean, I don't think I know any that would say they were, but from my perspective, I think I know a few.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
I think I know a few.
Yeah. So, and look, and look, I ain't poo-pooing nothing. Look, it's good. What they say is good work when you can get it, you know. But I'm just saying there are women to take advantage of us.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
So when you say us.
When I say us, I mean I'm talking about lesbian as a whole. You don't have to be over 30, over 40, 50, or 60 to be vulnerable. It's whoever is out to get whatever they can from you, and however they can from you, and it ain't got nothing with love. Love's got nothing to do with it.
Absolutely.
As simple as that. How about this? We fell in love for 6 months, and you went on down there, either bought her a car or co-signed for a car, and mysteriously 3 weeks later y'all break up. Who gets the car?
Right.
And she does.
Depends on whose name is in.
Yeah, but if you're really slick with your act, chances are, yeah,
you got a car out.
You got a car out the deal, exactly. Or you look at you're not even the sparkle catches your eye. You're like, oh, that's a nice ring. Oh, so and so gave it to me. Oh, that's some really, really nice ring. Well, and then mysteriously within 6 months, because you know how we go. Y'all know how we do. Time takes time warp is a current function in lesbian land. We meet you, we fall in love probably within 37 days. I'm giving you a month and that other week. You know what I mean? Well, I ain't never met nobody like Sheila.
Right.
And Sheila's saying, I ain't met nobody like Barbara. So I'm just throwing some names out there. They don't exist, okay? Please don't be calling me on that one. So and it happens. It really happens. Now your friends can see it. Your family can see it, you know what I mean? But you can't see it because all you know is that this is a woman who is kind, chances are lovely. Because
you feel a certain kind of way.
That you haven't felt lately.
And you don't see any of the red flags that everybody else sees.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Now, as in the past, I speak from personal experience. So here it is. I'm not going to say she was a gold digger.
But she ain't messing with no broke.
But it was interesting as to how things went down because even the best of us can get had. Now, first of all, I was not in a committed relationship. I was definitely dating. I was having fun. I was by myself and minding my business. So this young woman approaches me, whom I know peripherally from a friend of a friend. You know what I mean? So I don't know her, but right. I know of her. Well, make a long story short, I think we had lunch once, and maybe we'll get together one day for dinner. By coincidence, we were at the same party. She called and asked me, was I going to the party? I said yes, and she says, well, I'll be there too. Okay, and I said, I don't like riding with people because suppose I meet some sweetie pie and, but I said,
you just
okay.
ready to go when they not ready to go. I don't do that.
To accelerate the story, we went to the party together. And she was telling me how, how good I look in yellow and white, some of my favorite colors, and I'm telling her she don't look bad either. Within 3 hours, we left the party together. She comes back to my house and says, it's much too late for me to go home. And I say, I don't have one. I have two guest rooms, and you pick whichever one you want to stay in. Not even thinking anything.
I don't even know who she's talking about on this story.
Right. And
First time hearing it.
Okay, and you don't need to know. So in any event.
So I'll have questions after the video.
So here we go. So she stays the night, and it was an interesting evening. I'll say that. The next morning, there was breakfast, conversation. The next week, there was another lunch date. That weekend, it was, come on over. What are you doing? The second week, she says, what do you normally do on the weekends? I love to go shopping. I say, what I always say, I'm not a shopper, but I enjoy nice clothes. All right? I'm not a shopper. I don't want to go to seven stores looking for a black jacket. Okay, now with the internet, you can just order one, right? So bottom line, she takes me shopping with her, and she picked out 4 things at 4 different places. Mind you, when we went shopping, we went to Nordstrom's, Neiman Marcus, we went to some other store, and then we walked by, what's the thing with the store with the blue box?
Tiffany's.
Tiffany. Went by Tiffany's. I'm wore out. Everybody knows I'm not a shopper. I don't know why she's dragging me on this thing. She bought nothing. You know what she did? She was just showing me what she likes so that in the future weeks to come, should she prove to be deserving, I'll know what she wants. Mm-hmm. It's simple as that. She was starting to grease the skids, baby, right? So in retrospect, as I'm looking at, how events unfolded, she was, like I said, was greasing the skids, preparing me for whatever her intentions were. Mm-hmm. Then, time went on, and believe me, everything had happened and stopped within a 3-month period. We did not go from 0 to 50 because I recognized what was going on. She asked me to lunch. Didn't make a move for her wallet or her pocketbook, and I'm sure Heifer only had $10 on her, right?
Oh, now that's jacked up.
So it was expected for me, though you invited me to lunch, it was expected for me to pay for lunch. You already went on this false shopping spree that as you were showing me things, and then what did it for me when the lights were coming on, but this one did it. She started having car trouble. I don't know how real it was because I'm not a mechanic, but I have to admit the car was making an interesting little noise. That next week, she came in with pamphlets for new cars, and she laid them on the counter. And I'm like, you've been shopping for a new car? Oh, what kind of car you like? Oh, these are nice. And she said, yeah, but I just can't afford one right now.
So why do you have the pamphlets?
Wait a minute. Call me big, but don't call me stupid. And I'm like, I hope this heifer don't think I'm trying to get her a car. Like it wasn't going to play out like that. Simple as that. So what I'm saying, and needless to say, everything died of natural causes because some things happened, but I was fully aware by this time, fully aware of what her intentions may be because nothing else made sense. And to the point that she was even telling me what her financial plans were, and slightly suggesting what I could do to help her out during this time of her need. Mm-hmm. And it was I'm just like, I said to myself, as I'm just, you're by yourself and you're thinking, and I'm like, is she trying to work me? Because nothing about our little short-term encounter would lead to me buying you clothes from Neiman Marcus or looking at some jewelry or not to mention helping you get a car. Okay? So she was coming at me like, and I was just saying like, well, Sharon, don't think like that. But I couldn't help. I couldn't help but think like that. So I kind of think that was like, I kind of missed that magic bullet, but I was very much aware of what was going on because nothing else made sense. Yeah. We were not romantically engaged, though I'm sure, her attempts were there, like, to take me there, okay? And I'm thinking, God, okay, I'm over 55 at the time. I'm over 55. I'm older. You know what I mean? I still get around a lot. And maybe she thinks, because you live in a house by yourself, you don't even have a dog, and you've been a professional all your life, and you ain't got no woman. Let me tell you what I can do for you. So I think personally that I ducked that bullet. Yeah. So why am I sharing this story with you? Because some of us can just be taken in. Like it's like an emotional undertow. Yeah. And it can only happen because we are vulnerable. Mm-hmm. We're good people. We got big hearts. And we need and want what everyone else needs and wants. And that is, chances are, just for someone to love us before we leave the planet. It's simple as that. Now, as I said, fair swap ain't no swindle. Had I gone for it, it just would have been a done deal. But I didn't. And look, there's people out there much smoother than her. Because I see it when it happens to my friends. You don't want to say anything negative?
But I don't think it has anything to do with how smooth the person is. I think it has something to do with how the other person feels about that particular person. Because had you liked her a lot more than you did, you may not have seen that yet. You may have gone for a lot of what she was putting in front of you because you might have liked her more. But the fact that maybe you didn't like her as much as she probably thought you did, that may be why you were able to see that. Because, people can see stuff when their emotions aren't involved with it.
That's true. True. Yeah, that's true. But looking back, and also I saw she was an opportunist because I think, if you're really looking at it.
Yeah, in hindsight, though, you see that, sure, but you probably didn't see
But there are people who, they'll just knock on the door. It's almost knocking on any door. I don't care who answers as long as someone does answer.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't going to be me, it was going to be the next person or the next person. And I'm sure she was hooked up and booked up within a week or so, or was never fully released from her other obligations. Mm-hmm. Now, meanwhile, while we were talking and walking, I never went to her place. Why was that? Mm-hmm. Do you not have a place to live, or do you have some other business pending that you don't want me to know about?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just think she was, like I said, I think she was getting ready to get ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, when I play it back, that roll back that beam footage. Yeah, I think old girl was gonna try to do the hoopty on me.
Oh
yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure she was.
So as we're talking about this today, I want you guys to be thinking about it. Like, has someone tried to, attach themselves to you,
right,
before you were ready to be attached?
Now, this is what I can say about the situation. I personally have never looked at anybody to take them for whatever they have. Mm-hmm. I just have a theory that we all just need to work for whatever we want. If you get with somebody who can help you get that quicker, God bless you. So, but what I can say is that, when we are dating, or you're in that initial first stages of dating, so you're getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, now, and this has happened to me, and the person may share what they may have, as though they're hinting to want to help you out, like, oh, you need somewhere to stay because I own like 5 houses, and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that's great. So I think, in a sense, some people don't necessarily go in as being gold diggers, but then when the conversation comes up and people are telling you what they actually have, your situation. So if you're in, let's say, living in your car and you're homeless, and somebody say they own 5 homes, then what is that gonna do for you? You're like, well, I'm hooked up and booked up with this person, or I'm getting to know them. Maybe I can live in one of the homes, or whatever that it may be. And I'm definitely using that as an example. But I have had people, tell me what's in their bank account, and I've had people tell me, some of the things that they have, and whatever the case may be.
Why do we do that?
So I don't know, why we do that. Sharon asked, like, why we do that. I don't know why. That type of conversation. And some people are not doing it to suggest stuff. They're it's just might be part of the conversation. But I felt like a few of the women that I, was dealing with told me stuff that, and some of it was just so, like for instance, some of it was just like, really? For instance, I was talking to this one girl online, and definitely way before Sharon. And I was talking to this one girl online, and she lived, like maybe an hour away from me, and we were talking about hooking up and whatever. But in our conversation of getting to know one another, she says, "Oh, I got this CD I want you to hear, this song I want you to hear." And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, who sing it? So we're talking about the song.
And where were you at? You were at her house at the time?
No, I was home. We were on the phone.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And she says, let me play it for you. And she goes, I have to go to my other car and get it out of my other car, because, and it was like a fairly new song that was out. I just didn't, know it at the time. So she supposedly gotten a CD, and, by the time we talked again, she's playing this song for me or whatever. So we finally do hook up, and I go to her home. And I'm at her house, and she does have 2 cars, because on the phone, it made me think she just wanted me to know that she had 2 cars when she says, I have to go to my other car to get the CD. Like, I didn't really even need to know where the CD was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, okay, whatever. We are who we are in Lesbian-land. You know how that go.
Right.
So when I get to her house, I can see she does have 2 cars. But the one that's parked versus the one she's actually driving looks like it's been parked for 5 years. Like, it's not even in working condition.
If not even 10, yeah.
So
right.
for you to say to go to your other car as though you have 2 cars, they're working, and you had the CD in this one because you were listening to it in that car, it's like that car looks like it hasn't even moved in over 2 years. So I'm like, that's just, I mean, it's things like that bring people in. Like, did you want me? Because I already knew she owned her home, or that's what she told me, or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think it made her feel like she got way more than, the average single person her age. And I was just like, I don't need to hear all that. Like, if I'm going to like you, I'm going to like you for you. I could care less what you have.
Right.
Exactly. If we decide to get together, that's just great. I'm coming with what I'm coming with, and you coming with what you're coming with, and we can put it together. But I don't need to know all of that preamble, because the whole just telling me about your other car was unnecessary,
right?
And it didn't really pan out to be anything.
It didn't, as I say, it didn't move the needle one way or the other.
Exactly. And it made it actually worse, because when I discovered, like, I was like, okay, then she didn't lie, but at the same time, I knew that CD wasn't in there.
Right, like
not a 2-year-old car that's sitting there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the question still remains from me to you and to all our friends out there: why do people do that? Why do So if you are a gold digger, and if a person is a gold digger, and you're out there trying to act like Big Bank Hank, as my friend says, you're trying to act like you more than what you are. You know what I mean? Don't get upset if someone reacts to that, because if you're putting that message out, you are saying, hey, look at me, and if you don't want to look at me, well, at least look at what I got and what I'm willing to share. And hey, baby, if you want one, get her 2.
Right.
That kind of thing. So if you're coming off like that, you may very well make yourself attractive to people who think that way. So it's a two-way street. But she's trying to have somebody, and you acting like you want to be had.
That's so true. And that is so true. But also, when you said earlier, we were talking about, like, what is gold digging, and I said I probably know, several people. It's definitely me on the outside looking in. So let me just get that straight, because I don't know for sure if they
with the
are
dynamics. Right, you don't know.
But speaking on the point we just made about how people say stuff, because I do know a situation where a woman was talking to this other woman, and she was living in a whole nother state. So she tells her, well, why don't you move here? You don't have to work. Don't worry about working. I got you.
Yes.
So that indicates that you are going to take care of this person when they come to the next state. So she gets here, and of course that lasts like a year, and then she's arguing with her like, when you gonna find a job, da 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 da. Well, you have to specify that when she comes, that she needs to be looking for a job.
Right.
Or you plan on, you know, like, I got us for the first year. After that, you know, you're gonna have to chip in, or whatever the case may be.
You need to make some arrangements.
So for me or anybody else on the outside looking in, it may be like, okay, she just moved here to be with her, because why is she not working? Why is she not doing this? But we don't know what the conversation was.
That's true.
Prior to. So we could label that person as a gold digger, but in a sense, she may not necessarily be.
That's true, because you really don't know what's going down behind closed doors. So
absolutely,
we're not trying to, to pull the scab off somebody or try to label you something that you're not. I'm just saying the dynamic does exist in the world. We are part of the world. So we're specifically talking to our friends in Lesbian-land and beyond. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because just be aware of that. You know what I mean? Be aware of how you even present yourself, because everyone is not out there to fall in love with your divine inner self. Mm-hmm. Okay, they out there to make life a little as easy as possible, and they've selected you to help them with that.
Absolutely.
Okay,
so it's up to you to make the decision whether you want to help them or not. Some people are just natural givers.
Right.
Right. But sometimes that's what people thrive on and they look for, and so. You just need to be careful.
And what you say is true. Yeah, some people are natural givers, and there are people who are natural takers.
Yes.
And the more that you're willing to give, I'll have some more. Why don't mind if I do. Matter of fact, give me two.
Exactly.
Right? And so just be mindful of that. So we keep it real. It's out there. Be aware. And that doesn't mean you have to be suspect of everybody that you're dating and who's looking at you and winking at you. But you do need to be aware. That it does exist. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm a very experienced person, and definitely worldly to some degree. I could be had, and that doesn't mean that I never have been, but I'm just saying that, people, what your intentions and what theirs are, it could be two different things. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we're especially us as we who are not in relationships and maybe getting older and really do want that real and warm and genuine and reciprocal relationship. We want it, but we want it so bad. Mm-hmm. And we are almost willing to do is almost any way possible.
Absolutely.
We're going to make it work. Okay, she ain't got a job. She ain't even got a GED. You know what I mean? She ain't got a car. Doesn't have a resume, but she sure look good in that blue suede suit. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So she's using her wares to work you, and just be aware of it. Just be aware,
Absolutely.
Because we want everyone to be in whole and healthy relationships who want to be, but we want to make sure that you're receiving just as good as you're giving.
Absolutely.
All right, and so that's our message for today, right?
Yeah.
And I have seen it go down several times, and it's not for me to tap on somebody's shoulder and saying, "Hey, I think she's." I think she's working you, babe. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Cause then your friendship, they mad at you for telling them the truth. Yep. You ever see that? Like how you say, I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just being your good friend. I'm being honest with you. Well, but you need to know I love her. Well, okay, I'll leave that alone because we can't touch love.
And that's the whole thing. I mean, if you see it, it's like you don't know whether you need to say something because
right.
Some people do get upset with the truth. And sometimes they know it.
Yeah.
And, they don't want to face it, but some people can't. And so it just depends on the person. I personally, don't have a problem with you approaching me. Now, it may not go the way that you want it to go when you approach me, because if I'm in love with the person, I'm just going to be in love with them. But I'm definitely not going to be mad at you for bringing your opinion to me.
Right, trying to put a bug in my ear.
Exactly.
Right. So our question still remains, have any of you been in a gold digger scenario, mm-hmm. whether you're the gold digger or
gold diggy? Is that a word? Gold diggy or the
victim
gold digger?
You know what I mean? It's out there. It's real. You've seen it. but be advised. You know what I mean. As I said, word to the wise, and we just want you. We want the best for you guys always. And it's a million and one different stories in lesbian land.
Absolutely, and we enjoy hearing yours as well. So we appreciate you all listening to us every week too.
If you fall for one, we can understand because anybody can be had. But when you get that second one, come on, shame on you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, what Bill Withers say, I don't care how you use me, as long as you use me up. Okay, if that's what you into, there's someone out there to use you up. So, always before we leave, we want you to know that we're wishing you the very best
of all good things. Stay safe and stay woke. Thank you, and we love you.